So thank you very much, YouTubers. Welcome. Hello. I hope you're all doing great. So today's um, today's topic is about how to how we can get ourselves to immigrate to the United States. About a week ago, the DV lottery was actually released, and a lot of people definitely did not get to win. And so the question that we want to ask ourselves is, are there other pathways that people can actually use to get to the United States? Is there a plan B that someone can use to get to the United States? My understanding of why people want to travel to the United States is to basically live a good life, have the ability to get a good job, have the ability to further their education, specifically looking at the criteria of a person who is applying for a DV being a minimum of a high school certificate holder. And so, can a high school certificate holder in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda have the ability to actually apply for a Plan B type of visa that would still be able to get them to the United States to actualize the dream of having a good life, the dream of having a good job, and the dream of furthering their education? And so, with that, I actually visited the uh, travel.state.gov website. Most of the people who apply for the DV only apply but tend not to go back to this website and see whether there are other options exist. And if that is you, please comment. Please put your comment in the comment sections and let's interact. So when you come to this website, look out for the visa wizard. And the Visa Wizard is a very straightforward tool that can give you a lot of context on the type of visas that you can apply for. And so in this case, I will just run us through what you can do. This video would work very well for someone who is in East Africa, for that East African who works in the Middle East, specifically within the hospitality, oil and gas space. These websites can really, really help you. Even if you have applied for DV before, get in here and look at other options. They exist. I tell you, you have more than 10 plus visas that you can apply, even if you're a holder of a high school certificate. And so here, I will choose Kenya. Okay. And so once I choose Kenya, I am a straight shooter. You have many options, but I'm going for business or employment. And I will look at maybe the low hanging fruits. And in this case, we want to get ourselves in the gate. You want to have that ability to get yourself inside the US legally. And so let's look for temporary work. When we are in Dubai, when we are in Doha, when we are in Jeddah, when we're in Sharjah, when we're in Oman as a country, or Bahrain, what we do there is we have temporary employment. So I will do the same. I have temporary employment. So I'm coming for temporary employment in the US. And so, what kind of work, right? So, for me, accepting a job offer from a US employer or working for a US employer if you already have the job. So, in this case, we don't have the job yet. Okay. And then so if you are the lowest cadre, you just have a high school certificate. If you have um, a higher profession, of course, you can choose your profession. But in this case, let us look at the lowest hanging profession, which just requires you to have a high school certificate. So in this case, I will choose a temporary worker. And so then you come here and you find the visas. So if you're a Kenyan and you're planning to work as a seasonal or temporary worker, then you have these two visas. One is a seasonal work, H2B, and the other one is agricultural. Okay, so when you click on the H, it will bring you here. Okay, and you have the H2, which is temporary agricultural worker, and you have the H2B, temporary non-agricultural worker. So for applicants performing temporary or seasonal non-agricultural work, only citizens of nationals or nationals of designated countries are eligible for this visa. They are limited exceptions. So we are, as East Africans, probably, and as Kenyans, we actually qualify for this. We actually also qualify for the rest, but because this is what we actually chose, then we are going to stick to this, to this aspect. So now, when you look at this, you also want to interact with how long you have to actually stay in some of these countries, and some of these countries, specifically the US. So within the same website, if you come to the far right of the website, you have US visa reciprocity and civil documents by country. So here you want to find out a little bit more details on the validity periods of some of these visas. Okay. So you want to choose your country first. So we want to choose, for example, Kenya. So when you choose Kenya, okay, you then want to choose the type of visa. So the visa classification is a H. So now here you can see if you're doing the H1B, there is none. So I think why it's none, I think it's not eligible. Correct me if I'm wrong within the comment section. If it is none, if there is no visa fee, then we are probably not eligible. But if there is a visa fee, then we are eligible. You can see the visa fees right there, $325. The H1C, it has multiple entry. The key is right here. The type of non-immigrant visa, that's the classification, the fee, the reciprocity fee. Sorry, the word is a little bit of a tongue twister. The number of entries, the number of times you may seek entry into the United States with that visa. M means multiple times. If there is a number such as 1, you may apply for entry 1 time with that visa. So none of the visas are one-time entries. They are multiple entries. Then you have the validity period. This generally means the visa is valid or can be used from the date it is issued until the date it expires. For travel with that visa, if your validity period is 60 months, your visa will be valid for 60 months from the date it is issued. 60 months, guys, is 5 years. So if you go to Dubai today, if you go to Doha today, most of those contracts are 3 months contracts. Some may be extended to 5 years. Comment in the box, in the section, in the comment section, if this is actually true. And so, what stops us from applying for our H2A or H2B under similar circumstances? The validity period here is not applicable, not applicable. I don't know what that means. So when we click here, 3A, it gives us the notes. The validity of H1 through H3, O1, O2, P1, and Q visas may not exceed the period of validity of the approved petition or the number of months shown, whichever is less. Okay. Under the 8 something, H2A and H2B petitions may generally this aspect, country specific footnotes and all that. So I still believe that as Kenyans, we are eligible, right? Um, for H1C, again, 60 months. H3, 60 months. So, all a period of about 60 months, right? For this application, except the H2A and H2B, which maybe someone can give us a little bit more clarity um, in terms of understanding, seeing that we might not have all the time to discuss that. So, this is probably what we need to do. Get into this website, search for context and content on how we can have our plan Bs. Now, once you have this information and you know that there are certain visas that you can easily apply for, then the next thing that you want to do is go out there and look out for job sites that can actually get you these jobs. So there is one that I've come across. It's called yousponsorme.com. So guys, get into this site. It's a very interesting one. So instead of you coming here and writing your barista, barista. Is it a barista? Ama tuseme welder. If you're a weld test lab engineer, if you're a landscaping um, laborer, all this kind. Instead of coming to search the jobs like that, just create for yourself an eligibility matrix, right? And you go ahead and complete the profile. Again, if you're from Kenya, for example, go ahead and enter your Kenyan detail, okay? And it now goes ahead and asks you questions. So you go ahead and answer until you get your profile on the website. And once you've done that, you then go ahead and see what opportunities are there for you. Now, even as you're doing this, in Kenya, we have seen many quacks, many quacks who purport to state that they can take you to America, they can take you to all these countries at exorbitant fees. They'll charge you an arm, a leg, and your heart. So instead of you dealing with quack lawyers, why don't you go to this site? It's called ilalawyer.com. And in here, you'll actually find different types of lawyers for different purposes. So I was earlier on searching. So what type of lawyer am I looking for? I'm actually looking for an employment lawyer. They even have language. So I was looking for Swahili. And then I'm not maybe sure which state it is I'm going to. So if I just say search, and this one is just me trying to look, guess what? There are people who even speak Swahili. So all of us in East Africa are actually covered. You can call Trupti, who's in Boston. Another one is in Houston, right? Another one in St. Louis, Missouri, San Jose, California, Burlington, Massachusetts, Houston, Texas, Claudine Umuhire Gasana, right? She's right there. She speaks Swahili. She understands your language, right? Because American English can be a little bit of a challenge. So if you can get someone who speaks your language, talk to them. They are not free, I must say. They charge, but they are professionals. They are on this website. You can find them. If you try to work with, even as you work with sites like You Sponsor Me, you also have other sites like, Glassdoor, that you can just come and check out the H2B workers visas, all right? And there's one here. So if you check out on this one, it actually states that a current in-country H2B visa is required. Guys, this is what we were talking about, getting inside the gate. Getting inside the gate. The minute you get inside the gate, other opportunities will present themselves. Other opportunities will present themselves. As Kenyans and East Africans, we are known to be resilient. We are not one directional. We go out there and look out for so many other opportunities that can make us better people. And so if you're guided to having a good life, to getting yourself back to school, to having a good job, you just need to get yourself inside the gate. Once you're inside the gate, this job from Homewood Suits by Hilton indicates that if you are in country and have a H2B visa, you can actually apply for this position. And the money is not bad at all. 41K to 77K per year is not bad money at all, with a median of 56K. If it is bad money, guys, please comment for those who might watch this from the US. But other jobs exist. Hotel investment services exists. And these guys, they pay $12 an hour. They'll sponsor for your visa. The email is right there, guys. So, what do you need to do to make sure that you're giving yourself other opportunities and you're not fading away and coming back every year to do the same thing over and over again? The DV over and over again. You've applied for the DV for 5 years, for 2 years, for 10 years. What other opportunities do you have? Don't have a closed mindset. Go out there and see whether there are opportunities that will work for you. I hope this information helps. Let me know if this content was useful. If there's anything maybe that is misrepresented, also please let me know. Happy to continuously provide for you content that will make us better people.